Boxingego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. 1. Kell Brook may end up actually facing his mandatory with the IBF, Errol Spence Jr. The truth. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you like and subscribe. Follow me on social media. Vladimir Klitschko, Dr. Steelhammer. He and Anthony Joshua were in New York doing their presser. This is crazy. Watch this. Damn, homie. In high school, you was the man, homie. What the fuck happened to you? Bop, bop. Oh, horrible spill. He didn't have no elbow pads or a jacket. Look at his arm though. It's rad. Damn, that road rash. His arm is tore up. You guys remember that game on Sega, Road Rash? That was my shit. They'd be hitting people with chains and stuff. Sega! Look at his arm. They show it again. Damn, Daniel. So, let's talk about the video at hand, which is Errol Spence, Kell Brook. The fight I've been pushing for, I want to see, just because I want Errol to get his shot, win, lose, or draw. I mean, he deserves it. He worked it. This is his verified page. And Ring TV, credit to them. Link in the description. I have linked to their article. They spoke with Eddie Hearn. He's obviously, as I just told you guys, in New York, promoting the presser for, like, promotional run for Klitschko and his fighter Anthony Joshua. And then Errol Spence posted this. Again, link in the description. And it says, Kell Brook likely to face Errol Spence with purse bid looming. Right? Now, I've read the article and the interview, and basically Eddie Hearn saying, I urged him to move to 154. I think he'll be a better fighter there. 154 is more his weight class at this point. He probably knows the little back end struggles or whatever Kell Brook is talking about to make 147, what he has to do, what he has to put his body through. And Kell Brook doesn't want to vacate his belt. So it looks like this might be actually into fruition. So the purse bid, it is starting February 7th. I was under the impression that the medical extension ended at the end of February, but I guess it's a little bit sooner. Maybe I got my dates or months confused. Maybe I thought it was the end of February and it's the end of January. So February 7th is when the purse bid goes on. And you've seen what Errol Spence said in his caption. Purse bid Tuesday. Fight news soon. Hashtag man down. Hashtag strap season. So the game plan hasn't changed. Errol Spence, definitely, if you follow him, he's being smart, because through all the rigmarole and the back and forth from Team Brook, from Eddie Hearn, he's staying disciplined and he's staying in shape, because he knows somehow, some way, he'll be fighting somebody soon for this IBF strap, whether it's Kell Brook, whether Kell Brook goes to 54. So I like this attitude from Errol Spence Jr. You have to do this, because, like, here's an example off the top of my head. Brandon Rios was in negotiations, long negotiations with Kell Brook, and in the end it didn't pan out. And what happened was, Brandon Rios, I mean, I don't know personally, I wasn't in his camp, but he clearly didn't do what he was supposed to be doing in his off season, meaning like managing his weight, kind of like managing what you eat and your intake and stuff like that. And he ended up getting stopped by not even the biggest puncher at welterweight, Tim Bradley, his very next fight, when he did get a fight. That's not good. You know what I mean? If you know you're going to be fighting somebody, whether it's Kell Brook, Tim Bradley, or whoever, you should be, in the back of your mind, that should be enough to keep you hungry. And that's what we see from Errol Spence Jr. So I like that attitude. He got the war tape on the hands. He's ready. You know what I mean? Staying ready. You see it in the caption, which is ironic, because that's what I'm talking about. Him staying ready. Sparring with John Jackson a few weeks back. So I like this attitude. That's what he should be doing. Despite whatever Kell Brook decides to do, he's going to be fighting for somebody for a title. So don't get discouraged and all this stuff. And as far as Kell Brook, I mean, he brought criticism on himself, really, because it's been a long, laborious process about getting an answer. Like, I don't I don't condone what Canelo did in the Triple G situation, but I at least respect it from the angle that he just gave up his belt. So you let the criticism begin, or whatever you feel, let it already happen. You know what I mean? When Triple G was his mandatory, he said, I'm in court. I don't feel like dealing with this. I'm not trying to fight this dude right now. Here's the belt. And he gave it up. So if someone is not going to fight their mandatory, I would prefer that instead of stringing it out, getting medical extensions. So I'm not trying to challenge, I guess, Kell Brook, his intestinal fortitude about being a warrior, but I really believe he's backed into a corner where he has to fight Errol Spence because it'll look extremely bad. And I don't know if they anticipated that, but the media is mentioning it, new media, people talking about it. So it's almost like he damn near has to, or he would look he'd be in the same boat as Canelo, who vacated to not fight Triple G, and to this date we don't know if that fight will happen, right? So to me, I think Kell Brook almost has to fight Errol Spence at this point. I mean, he can choose to vacate, like Eddie Hearn is sounds like wants him to do, but he knows that he would be under an immense amount of pressure. Amir Khan saying it. I talked to Amir Khan at his media day, and he said it. He said, "Oh, he's the Mr. King of mandatories," but now he has like a guy who's a threat for a mandatory. Now all of a sudden he's hesitant. So it just the way it's all been laid out and unfolded, it would look extremely bad if Kell Brook just moves up to 54 and drops his belt. I keep telling you guys the same example because it's one of the best recent examples that people know of a very similar situation, and that was Jermall Charlo versus Julian Williams, J-Rock Williams. Because people said Charlo was ducking, people said Charlo was scared, people said J-Rock was going to give him that work, and it was the biggest threat. J-Rock was undefeated, just like Errol Spence is undefeated. He was making a name. He was like becoming like a cult classic, gaining like some fans, and he was becoming an urban legend. And people said Charlo was scared. Charlo said, you know what? I was going to move up to 160 because I struggle to make weight, but now I'm staying and I'm going to defend. And he did it. He knocked down Charlo. He looked good in the fight. He had a nasty ass uppercut, and now he's moving up. And you can do that. You can move up in peace, but you don't want to stick around at welterweight long enough to fight Sean Porter and a bunch of other guys who really don't carry much, like Sinchenko. Like, who has he really beat? Honestly, he lost to Paul Williams, or not Paul Williams, Paulie Malignaggi. He beat Ricky Hatton when Ricky Hatton was literally doing coke and was on a 3-year retirement from boxing after losing to Mayweather and getting knocked out brutally. Well, he got knocked out by Mayweather and got knocked out brutally in the second round, I think, versus Pacquiao. Then he was like depressed and struggled with depression, had drug addiction, and had a 3-year hiatus, came back and fought Sinchenko, and then ended up getting stopped. You know what I mean? So aside from Sean Porter, that's literally the best name on his resume other than Golovkin, and that was a fight not at welterweight, and it was a fight you didn't win. So I'm talking about his welterweight career. Your biggest name is Sean Porter, without a doubt. Carson Jones and fights like that. I mean, Robello, those aren't fights that are like really ringing bells. So before you move up as a champ, and especially since you became champion, you have no welterweight fights that are really notable. You fought Jojo Dan, you fought Kevin Beasley or Frankie Gavin, and then Kevin Beasley, a guy who lost twice to Jojo Dan, right? So all of a sudden, if you cut turf and, I can't make welterweight anymore, being a champion, having Errol Spence Jr. constantly like man down and the media down your throat, and he's your mandatory, I'm telling you guys, it's not a good look for him. So hopefully he does more of this, gets in shape to make weight, and we see what happens. That's all and the thing is, it's not, some people, this is how I know who I'm talking to when it comes to boxing. People always take things personal. I actually like Kell Brook. I put people on Kell Brook, but fair is fair. Like Mayweather said, I call a spade a spade. And he's a skillful fighter. He's a good fighter, which is why I want to see him fight. If I thought Kell Brook was a bum or trash, I wouldn't even care if he fought his mandatory like that, like this. You know what I mean? The reason I want to see it's a good-ass fight. It's good for boxing, and either a new star is going to be born or Kell Brook is going to put up and shut the truth up. You know what I'm saying? And improve his truth. So that's the thing. A lot of people are too emotional in this boxing game. If you have constructive criticism, I understand if I was getting on here calling these fighters like names and filth, Lauren and filth and stuff like that, but I'm not up here doing that. I'm just doing what I feel is, and saying what I feel is right for the sport, what is right for the people who work hard and take the tough challenges, or take whatever challenges, names that are thrown at them to climb up through the ranks. You know what I mean? And they both have somewhat of a name, despite what Kell Brook is saying. Nobody knows Errol Spence. I mean, when I was in Vegas and people were coming up and taking pictures with him, I have an interview with him. So if no one knows him, why did I even stop him to do an interview? I should just walk right by him, right? So we all know. And you're not even, Kell Brook's not even from the States. So how you know, like, obviously he's been to the States, but you don't live out here. So how you know who knows Errol Spence in the States, and this is not even your region where you reside? You know what I'm saying? That's like me being in the Bay Area and saying like, oh, no, nobody knows Lil Puppet in Compton. Like, how would I know? I don't live in Compton. You know what I'm saying? How are you gonna tell somebody else is from another set or another region or demographic? You're gonna say who people know and who don't know. Errol Spence has enough of a name, and even if nobody knew him, I mean, he's your mandatory. It is what it is. That's the guy you're mandated to fight. So I'm glad the purse bid is coming. It's nothing against Kell Brook. He has a shot to win. It's a good fight. That's why we want to see it, because it is a good fight. But if it happens, I'll probably do a prediction video and break down who I think will win and why they'll win it. But it's overall a good fight. Errol Spence deserves it. Kell Brook it'll be a win. And that's the other thing I hate about in boxing, where people make these different like scapegoats and reasons and excuses to not fight. Real recognizes real, and if you beat a top talent who's even on their way up, even though Errol Spence doesn't have a resume like Pacquiao at the moment, he's being praised far too much. Floyd Mayweather is on national TV multiple times saying, I want to know why everybody's ducking Errol Spence Jr. He keeps bigging him up. That's like the biggest cosign you can get in boxing. Floyd Mayweather, because he's the biggest star in boxing, right? So if you shut this guy up and you beat him fair and square, and you beat the guy that was supposed to be this monster, then even if you, whatever you're saying, oh, people don't really know his name and he's not a big money fight, you're going to get more respect from the real boxing fans than beating Amir Khan, who I understand you have a domestic rivalry against, but Amir Khan is coming off of a brutal knockout in a higher weight, and he's been knocked out 2 other times, and he's been knocked down by like Julio Diaz and people like that, Willie Lyman or whatever his name is. You know that, you know what I mean? You can clearly, Khan's a bigger money fight, I give you that, but when it comes to respect, for you to say that people don't know Errol Spence, you know that they will give you more credit for beating him. He's undefeated. He's never been knocked out. You knock him out. You be the first to knock him out, and you'll get props. And it is what it is. As far as I don't feel sorry for that Kell Brook, he went up to 160 and now has to come down. That's a decision that him and his team made, and you made that. Now you have to lie in that. Right? You know what I mean? No one told you. Nobody demanded that he fought Golovkin on short notice after Chris Eubank and his dad started tripping with the ticket sales or whatever. You took that. You're like, oh, I'll take that offer. You know what I mean? So that, I mean, and now you're not staying up. Why don't you stay up at middleweight then? Okay, yeah, how about that? Stay at middleweight. You know what I'm saying? But you don't just flex and feel where you want and avoid what obligations you have. You know what I mean? Stay up at middleweight. Why 154? You say you're a real middleweight and you feel strong. You don't have to kill yourself to make weight. So now that you lost to Golovkin, why don't you stay up there? You know what I'm saying? So I don't feel remorseful that he has to come back and take on a task without no name or whatever he's saying in Errol Spence Jr. You knew that before you fought Golovkin. Hopefully the fight gets made. I'll keep you guys updated. That's just really what I want to see. I want to see this fight. 2017 will be good with this fight. Let me know what you guys think. Drop in the comment section. Make sure you share the video, like the video. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off.